Welcome back. Today we're continuing our exploration of the Dresden full moon, chapters 16 to 20. All right. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing groovy. One moment, I need to add something real quick. I'm not ready. Of course I'm not. Please open. I'm still a little loopy. I mean, you're used to it by now, but
Tina, Christy, lady.
lower. How does it feel, baby? Hello. Hello, John, Christy, Tina. Good morning to you all. Oh, speaking of which, I have
Lunas.
coffee. Oh my god. Coffee. Looney's there. Hey, what's up, Looney? Looney, my dude. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Thank you all for hanging out yesterday. All the fun for our Deep Rock Galactic. I really enjoy that game. That game's it's just a fun time.
Yeah.
I was doing something. Oh yes. Lower the system volume a bit. All right, groovy. Groovy. How's everyone's morning doing? Oregon, hello. You get any sleep, Mozzie? 4 hours? 3 to 4 hours, roughly. So yeah, I got some. Coffee sustaining me, and we'll go from there. Xeno, my beautiful host, how are you doing? God, you look so smart with glasses. Oh my god. You are just... Put this over here. I always forget you have glasses. Oh, no.
They're pretty new.
Oh, no.
I've only had them for a little bit. Like
I
a
messed up.
month or two. What did you do?
Oh, I tried to resize the window.
Broke it?
And I broke it. Oh no. Alright, hang on. I gotta fix it.
Okay.
Alright, I think I fixed it. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Okay. I was like, I need to make it smaller so I can see it on my side. But I broke it. Manu, hello, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Welcome in. Happy weekend, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? I'll do a quick intro, so that way we can just roll into it when he gets back. If you're not familiar with what's going on today, we're doing a book club continuation of the second book in the Dresden series, Full Moon. We're on chapter 16 through 20 by Full Moon by Jim Butcher, excuse me. And having a great time. These 5 chapters, much like the last 5 chapters, were crazy. Actually, more so, I'd say. They were more so crazy. YouTube chat just hates me today. Oh no.
This was maximum crazy. This is as crazy as it's been.
It was. Yeah, it really was. I think it was chapter 18 and 19 specifically. We'll get to it when we get to it, but
yeah,
it's a little crazy bonkers. You were right. I didn't start reading these 5 chapters until Thursday, and I couldn't stop. I read all up to chapter 20 to the very end, and then yesterday I finished chapter 20. Friday morning and last night and this morning, I guess, really early, but they were so good. 2 errors already in YouTube chat.
Nice.
YouTube chat being sassy.
It's very...
If you don't know who I am, I'm Wolfman Mozzie. Hello. Hi, how are you? This over here is, my beautiful better half streaming
over
partner.
Here? Or over here, depending on where you're looking.
My angle's weird. I have to point diagonal because my camera is offset. It's not centered, so I'm like, over there. Wait, no, there.
Gotta talk to the
No, here.
I love... He looks so angelic today, though.
I do.
God has graced the great Moz.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's burning. Ah! It's taking him.
Yeah, I didn't bother covering my window, so sorry guys. Sorry, not sorry. I think I stretched the camera again. Let me see. I'm gonna try to fix this.
There was a little moment where there's some light as well in the book, chapter 20. Now we're talking.
Oh, I guess it's just gonna have to be that way. Is there any green? There is a green border. That should fix it. Maybe talk for me real quick. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Talking very fast.
Talk dirty to me. Don't go into light, but it's shiny. I'm like a moth. Just can't help it.
Ooh, the Moz.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add before we jump right into it? How was your morning? How's the rest of your Friday?
Just good, I think.
What'd you have for dinner?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I had to think. What did I have for dinner? I didn't really have dinner.
This phablet, it just looked like a nice thick phone. He was holding it close to the camera. Yeah. It's just close to the camera. It's a normal size phone.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Got the thick case on though. Moose burgers. You had moose burgers? Oh.
I guess I had moose burgers for lunch. And then for a late night snack, I had tortilla with forgotten bacon and cheddar habanero cheese, and just microwaved it till melty goodness. It was a bacon wrap, yeah, essentially. Yeah. Bacon. Oh, yep. So I had two of those, and maybe Daisy got a little bit of bacon, maybe. So. Yeah. It's good stuff. Just had a breakfast sandwich for breakfast, obviously. Breakfast at noon because I woke up at noon. But hey ho. When you go to bed at 7 a.m., it's like, yeah.
Ooh.
Gonna type over there because Mozzie chats. Nah, it's all good. I can see both, so not a problem. Not a problem. Where we last left off, chapter 15. They Delta split in the woods because Murphy and Carmichael found them because they were hiding in Wolf Lake Park or something like that. They're on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, YouTube's tired of my shit. Yeah, pretty much. They were like, dude, you played enough Stranded Alien Dawn. By the way, that game is so good. I was having such a good time. Melody can suck it, but I was having a really good time. I had a character. Did you see any of the first run? I had a character. So you start with 4 characters, and you can pick them from a list, and they're preset. Like the names you can't change, the abilities you can't change, traits, passives, all that good stuff. And one of them was Melody, and she had decent traits, and I was like, cool. I picked them all via traits, trying to be pro gamer or whatever. I guess she bugged, and she refused to do tasks unless I told her to do it manually. It's like RimWorld, like they do their own thing, and you could set priorities, but you could tell them to do stuff manually, and she wouldn't do anything. She would do like a task, like yeah, I guess so. I would tell her to go chop down a tree, and if I told anyone else to chop down a tree, they'd chop down the tree, gather the logs, and bring them back. She would chop down the tree, leave the logs there, come back home, do nothing, and then pass out. It's like, what the hell are you doing? It's so annoying. So my second, she actually survived, but eventually one of the people died, and I restarted, and the second run's so much better. But anyway, it's having a blast. Really would recommend if you like that kind of game. I think it's going to be my new morning game for the foreseeable future.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It's also cool because you can slow down time and let them do their own thing and then look at chat. So I never feel like I'm behind on chat, you know? Because some of the games we get sucked into, like Hunt and things like that. I feel like I miss a lot in chat, so. Yep, and Porthos and Max were there. We found 2 dogs in the first run, and we named one Max and one Porthos because they were both males. Yep. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. So yeah, they Delta split. Tara went to go run interference essentially, and
it was a gun. Big Finn,
right?
And he's like, "No, we can't." Got to split, and they split up.
Yeah. Dresden said to meet at
Meet at
the,
the gas
nearest
station.
gas station. Yeah. So we start off chapter 16 with Dresden waiting at the nearest gas station for McFinn. McFinn, he said he gave him an hour, but he didn't show up. So he's getting restless, kind of thinking the worst of what happened and what to do next, because it either means they're dead or captured, which is kind of worst case scenario. They said in the last chapter, we can't let McFinn get arrested because then there's no way to prevent his transformation or protect him, and it'll just go ape shit. So Dresden decides to call, I guess, really like the one person left that he can ask for help. Yeah, which is Susan. If you don't remember, Susan is the Arcane reporter. Arcane is like tabloid, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's about, like, if you ever look at go to the grocery store or see, like, go through the magazine. Do they have magazine sections anymore? I don't really know. Well, they do in airports, I guess. But you see, like, the Bigfoot sighting or, UFOs found and whatever. Those kind of magazines. She writes for one of those. I guess one of the more credible ones. But he calls her, and he kind of has this internal battle where he doesn't want her to get in trouble because he is wanted by the police. He was arrested and escaped, so now he's a fugitive, essentially. But he needs help, so he kind of debates her. It's like, hey, I'll give you a story. And that she perks up immediately. I was like, oh, yeah. Excuse me, got hiccups.
She was like, I would have picked you up anyways, but...
Yeah. But he even says as soon as he emphasizes... do I have it written down? Yeah, he says, I could explain it. I offered strugglingly to keep my words clear through the pain. But, oh yeah, he also he's still recovering from the bullet wound. He is in not a good shape. Oh, and beat up by Murphy.
Beat up, shot.
And McFinn, actually.
And
I was going to say, he got beat up twice, yeah.
Grabbed him.
But it's sort of a long story, and he emphasized story. And he said as soon as he said that, her response, he could almost hear her smiling. So it's kind of one of those things, like,
Tired, yeah, very tired.
Mozzie sidetracked never. You know me, Tina. I'm always sidetracked. And he admits, like, she's like, yep, okay, I'll come get you. He's like, time is of the essence, so she's on her way. But he's like, well, Susan, like, I don't want to involve her, but she is the last person that I feel like I can trust and who can help me. So he's waiting there and just kind of waiting, I guess, contemplating all this. And he hears a sound. I was gonna say a rustle, but it was a pattern of movements, 3 specific short movements, which he's like, oh, that's a signal. So he goes behind, I guess, towards like a dumpster or something, or behind the building where it's coming from. And sure enough, it's Tara West, just there, in all of her glory. Yeah, in all of her glory. And her, oh yeah, she's just like, wizard, give me your coat, which I was like, and your boots and your motorcycle. But he gives her her cloak, and
he's like, dang,
she's very like,
darn, I have my jacket, but I mean that you went man brain for a second.
He did,
just a quick second.
He did. He was like, man, I had to grab my jacket. She was very unfazed by all of it, which she has been. Which we know that she's not human. We don't know what she is, but she's not human because of the soul gaze thing. But he gives her the jacket. She explains that McFinn came for her, and in the process, he got captured and arrested. And apparently Murphy and the feds argued, and Murphy won, and they're taking him downtown to Murphy Station. Same Florida Special Investigations. I guess they have their own jail cell, which, well, I don't guess. I know, but we'll get there in a second. And that they don't have much time, and what are they going to do? And I don't know. They just have this like weird moment that I guess it leans more to her not being human. She's just very on, like, she's not worried, or at least she doesn't seem worried, or
She's kind of
I don't know
blunt
the right
and
word. Yeah.
very unfazed or very unemotional.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Absolute unemotional, which just makes me wonder more. What the hell is she? I want to know.
Yeah, she's something because she still has emotions because she still gets really upset about Finn. He got hurt or shocked by
Yeah,
Dresden. So she still has something and she definitely cares about him, seemingly, at this point.
she, absolutely. She definitely does care about McFinn. I think at this point, excuse me, she's not worried about McFinn because she
Yeah.
knows
He's going to
that
be a big monster.
he's fine. They're not going to hurt him. He's going to destroy them,
Gonna
but he's not. He's going to be fine. Which she doesn't seem indifferent. She sought, well, at least according to her, she sought out Dresden specifically for him to stop McFinn. So she doesn't want him to go killing.
Yeah.
I think more so because she doesn't want McFinn to be in trouble.
Well, yeah, in the intro, what at the same, yeah, he's because he is like maybe she knows just how powerful he is and what kind of destruction. Because I mean, she doesn't seem to want the people all to die there that have him because he's gonna change and they gotta sort out this situation now.
That's true. There is some urgency of them getting there and figuring it out, and hopefully
Resigned. That's a good word, Chris. Yeah.
resigned. Okay, yep, that's a good word. Yep. She's just a mystery to me, and I'm trying to figure out what she's all about. But
Yeah.
but he's like, Dresden's like, all right, we got to go to the prison. We got to go to him. And he has a really good line. I wasn't planning on asking permission. I thought it was funny. But he has to go to his apartment first to get some stuff, and that's when Susan pulls up their ride, which there's this very funny and awkward interaction between Susan and Tara, because Tara is just, I mean, she's only wearing Dresden's duster.
Yeah, and she sees her long legs.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting in and not wearing anything underneath. She's just like, what? Who's this other lady now? Hey, Wander.
Mm-hmm.
Sister hug.
Hey, Wander. And Susan sees that Harry's been shot because he's only in the t-shirt now, and the bandage is ripped, so he's bleeding through the shirt. And he's like, yeah, I got shot. And she's like, doesn't it hurt? And then Tara's like, is this female always so stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have this moment where she's like, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. I really enjoyed it. So then, yeah, he has Susan take him to his apartment. Oh yeah, it's raining. It starts to rain, and I thought this was an interesting point. Susan, because Harry explained to her what was going on. McFinn was a werewolf. Not like all the details, but most of the details. I guess the cliff notes per se. And Susan asks, "But it's raining. We won't be able to see the moon tonight. Won't that stop McFinn from changing?" And Dresden's like, "Wait a minute," and looks to Tara, and Tara, without looking, is just like, "No." He's like, "Okay, no, that won't work." I just thought it was funny because Dresden's like, he even said like he doesn't know much about werewolves to begin with. They're not part of his expertise.
They've been around for like 100 years or so. So
they have, but he didn't know the difference between all the werewolves. Like he got that information from Bob.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny because he was like, "Wait, that is a good question." But no, he still turns. Then they have this drive to his apartment where he's still kind of mulling over the facts. What if Tara is the killer? Like pretty much the same information he's been mulling over the entire book. Who had the means, the motive, the opportunity? Who are the, like Tara, in which case like he doesn't know who she is or what her motives are. He's just questioning those and almost talking himself into a circle or something. But he's still just questioning everything. And then in the end, he kind of tells himself, I have to trust someone. Because he's not trusting anyone. Even Murphy, which I would argue Murphy is was his closest friend and ally, and he can't trust. Well, he wants to trust her,
Yeah,
but
he needs to
obviously
open
not
up.
in a
He
position.
needs to open up.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. And so he's very much aware that his apartment is probably being staked out because he's wanted, obviously. Um. And they pull past, and of course there's a cop car there watching his apartment. I think he said he recognized one of the guys. I don't know where. Oh, from the special units department. Nowhere in particular, but just in the department. He's seen them around. Um, so he needs a distraction, and much like previously, Tara's like, "I got this," and she says, "Do you like?" What does she say exactly? Do you like to look at my body? She she has Dresden, I guess, or like both of them. And Susan's like, careful how you answer that. And Tristan's like, yeah, Tara, that will work fine, I guess. And she's
Yeah.
like, and then she just like throws off the duster and walks into the rain and does like her own singing in the rain rendition to yeah ooh bow chicka bow wow
He's
and
just doing like the Archie backs and stuff. Ooh, in the
very
rain.
yeah um Oh yeah, Susan asks Harry, "Is she the human interest angle in this story?" Very flatly, and he's like, "I don't think she's human," and then just leaves for the apartment, leaving Susan there to be like, what?" What?
Yep.
Tara obviously very much,
She's just like, oh
yes,
yeah, men are stupid and they're just gonna bam. So she
yeah,
just nudes up, dances, distracts the guards. Boom, boom. Police officers don't see Dresden slip in, grab his goods.
yep. Grabs the two potions, which are the blank potion and the it's the refresher potion, but that's not what they called it. I don't remember what it was called.
And I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but it's essentially a refresher potion. It's a full night's rest in a bottle, essentially. He grabs his. I actually made a list. He grabs blue overalls with a light red patch on the breast pocket that stitched Mike. It's his mechanic. He left his uniform in the trunk of his car when he fixed the Blue Beetle. He added a baseball cap, first aid kit, a roll of duct tape, a box of, and I also love the fact that all of these come up and they all are very important. A box of chalk, 7 smooth stones from the collection of them I keep in my closet, a white T-shirt, a pair of blue jeans, and a huge bottle of Tylenol. Zipped up the backpack and headed back. At the last moment, I took up my wizard staff from the corner of the door and headed out. But as he opens the door, Mister shoots out and gives him a stern look of a like, "Where have you been?" And then just wanders off into the
Yeah.
night. I'm like, "Yes, Mister, I love it." Um, Outside, Tara's doing her ooh la la dance still. And he slinks back into Susan's car, and Tara like just appears. So, I guess Susan, yeah, the rest in the bottle, yeah. It's kind of funny. Ooh, kitty!
He got shut in here because he. Oh,
Oh no!
now he's
Pain's
trying
gotten
to.
so big.
Now he's trying to smack the door. He's being a butt.
Remember him just being a wee little thing.
Yeah, he's a big puffball now.
Um, right, and yeah, he hops back in the car. Tara slides in as well, and he tosses the extra clothes to her. Dresden's like, it worked. We did it. And Tara's like, of course it worked. Men are foolish. They will stare at anything female and naked. And Susan's like, no, she's right. Yeah, I know. Kitty's trash. Kitty. Bow chicka bow wow.
Ow. Oh.
Oh yeah, and Susan's like, we're gonna talk about this one, Mister. So talking to Dresden, and next stop special investigations. So they head that way. Smash cut to the the precinct, because the special investigations is I believe it's on the 5th floor. It's a specific floor of the building, but it's the whole precinct. So they're outside the building. Smash cut to outside the building. We're Dresden. Oh, I love this part too. It's so cool. We get to see more magic in action. He pulls the baseball cap lower over his eyes and drinks it's called a blending potion. That's what, not the blank potion. It's the blending potion. Which I thought the description was so cool. Yeah. So the ultimate goal of the potion is to essentially blend into the background. You become like, people see you, but they don't really like acknowledge you. You just become part of the background, kind of.
I really like it. Yeah, I really like how he just like all the description and how everything reacts and changes the way this potion works.
Goes grayscale for him and muted, and it's just not vibrant. It's almost like the opposite of the third eye, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, he goes like into the black and white movie mode, where everything is just like muted and black and white, unless somebody starts to notice him and then they start getting some color.
Yep, the more people notice him, the more color, which most people don't. Like the person, the clerk at the entrance looked up very briefly, and color like came into their face. I don't remember who it was, but it was just a random person. Color came into their face, and as soon as like almost immediately after they looked at him, it just went black and white again, and they went back to their magazine. And I thought that was really, really cool. Oh, that's right. He puts his blasting rod in a bucket, and that's his mop. As part of his janitor attire, because even like he doesn't walk. He does have a disguise. He doesn't walk straight in as himself, so there's a little bit of added magic to it. But I just thought it was really good. But yeah, he just slides on in. He slides past someone in the hallway, and they don't even like look up at him. And then he makes his way up to the 5th floor. Although he does make a mention that he's not running. He's moving as fast as like would be allowed. Like he doesn't draw attention to himself. Off for gaming. All right, Tina. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the gaming. Game.
He's trying to like rip open drawers. He likes sometimes. He's not very happy right now because he's stuck in here and he's trying to get out. He'll do this little, I'm a baby. Yes. Oh.
Oh, my cutie pie. But yeah, he doesn't. And I forgot to mention, this whole time, because it is raining and it's extremely overcast, they can't see the moon. They're very kind of in the dark of how much time they have left. So he's just going as fast as he can during the whole thing. But yeah, he makes his way up to the 5th floor. The special, is it 5th floor? I don't actually remember. I'm just saying 5th floor, but
5th floor. I think so. Special investigation 5th floor.
Yep, 5th floor. And that's the rolling into 17. Yeah. So you said you liked that the potion and the whole description there. Did you want to add anything more to it?
No.
Because we've seen.
It's just very interesting. Like
2 potions.
Yeah, because it just kind of paints like this really interesting, like mental, visual image that you get in your head while he's just doing this whole sneaking in. He's got his bucket full of chalk and other things that he's bringing in, that his mop and bucket, and he's just kind of like walking in and goes all the way up to, the holding cells, and just like starts tapping on the door.
Yep, just goes all the way in. He makes it up. He did hear on the way
Murphy talking.
Yeah, hearing Murphy talking. Where is it? Yeah, she says, "What do you mean you can't find him?" talking to Carmichael, I think. Yeah, Carmichael, because they were the men at his apartment said that they kept a real good eye on the place. Yeah. And they didn't see anything. So
got in and out,
no.
and they're like, "You're not gonna find him, and unless he's probably gonna walk in here before we find him."
Yeah, I was gonna say it says Dresden's gonna have to walk right into the office before we can find him. Yep, I thought that was funny. But Dresden, as much as he wanted to stay and listen to them talking about him, he was like, "Yeah, I gotta bounce." So he kept going. And yeah, like you said, he goes straight to the prison. He taps on the glass. I think he taps on the glass a couple. Yeah, he has to tap on the glass a couple times to get the dude's attention. Even.
The guy checks the calendar because he's like, "I'm not supposed to be here today," but all right, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
early.
I'm off Friday, so I'm coming early. And he just buzzes him through the door like nothing. Like he just kind of doesn't pay him any attention. Oh yeah, and then there was the part where it's like he hands him the clipboard and he's like, "Sign," and he's like, "How the hell am I supposed to sign? The potion doesn't work on that." So he's just like, "Scribble," and the dude's like, "Yep, checks out," and just totally oblivious. So that potion's working real good. Then he kind of peers. It doesn't say how many cells there are, but it sounds like there's a lot. So he peers at the monitor that this guy, because the guy he's talking to is in this like almost like cubicle, this sectioned off part with the glass, and he has the monitors beside him of all the cells. So Dresden peers over and looks for it because they're all labeled with names with tape with everyone's name on it. He looks for McFinn. He looks at the monitor, and the cell was empty. And he's like, "Oh no!" And then concrete dust drifted in the air. The wall of bars was missing, apparently torn from the concrete and allowed to fall away. I could see the scrapes of McFinn's denim shorts laying on the floor of the cell. And then he says, "Hell's bells." I love that. That's his. That's his oh shit. Yeah, what happens next is pretty horrific.
Get into the gruesome.
Yeah.
Very bloody.
Yeah, McFinn starts just going one by one through the cells and just getting into the cell, doing awful things to whoever unlucky bastards in there. I think it's like 2 or 3 inmates, and it's like within seconds too. It's just like in, dude's completely eviscerated, out within 3 to 4 seconds, and he's on to the next one. It's insane.
Squeeze them.
Yeah. It's pretty gnarly, and the whole time Dresden is shouting at this police officer to look at the monitors, and of course, like a mixture of just how fast McFinn is, also Dresden's wizardry messing with the cameras. Dude doesn't see anything until like, I don't know, the third or fourth victim. Yeah. Oh, I thought this was very interesting. Dresden seeing like the killings. Yeah, right. The blending potion is making the guard not pay attention to him. Yeah, that's why he's yelling at him, trying to get his attention. Harry said specifically, seeing this carnage, seeing what was happening, set off some primal ancient fear. And I was like, oh, that's so good. Because it, like, the Loop Guru is an ancient curse on well, in this case, on a family, like a bloodline. It's on a specific person, but it's on the entire bloodline. So the fear of the creature is ancient and primal as well. I thought that was really cool.
It also kind of goes back to like caveman survival at the same time, you know, that kind of like instinct to live. Like, oh no, something is.
Yeah.
You are going to die right now. You don't do something.
That and being scared of a beast, especially a nocturnal beast.
Something that's so dangerous is just gonna go right through you.
Yep, exactly. I can see if I can get some of these god rays out.
They look good.
Okay, well,
like it. So
That didn't really
shiny.
help. Anyway, we're just gonna leave it there. It's like I'm just so glowing. Like this side of my face is just anyway. Um yeah, and then Dresden's like he looks at the monitors and screaming in frustration and fear. He's killing them. At one point, oh yeah, so because it's a two-door system, the guard has to buzz the first door. You go in, closes, and then he can buzz you through the second door. And the second, I don't know if the first door is like just bars. I think it is. The second door is not. It's like a full metal steel door, so sound doesn't go through it either. At least not, but like the loudest sound. And the guard doesn't like register anything until he's finally like, just buzz in, and the doors open and they hear the screaming. And then the guard immediately is just on edge and just like, what is happening? The screaming just poured out of this cell. Oh yeah, high sounds that you wouldn't think could come from a man's throat. Panic and terrified. Yeah, it was awful. And then the guard like kicks in, and I think he hopped. No, I think he hopped out of his station and like looked down, and that's when he saw McFinn in all of his werewolf glory. And he just Oh no, I think Dresden looked down first, because then McFinn charged them, and they almost got the door closed. But with the first shoulder charge, it threw Dresden back quite a bit, and then he got the guards' help to. I think at this point, because Dresden's still seeing Casablanca style, and I think at that point the guard, like all the color came back in the guard. He was aware of what was going on.
You.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then he's like, no, help me close the door. And then both of them go to close the door. And McFinn hit it so hard that the cop hit like the back wall, and Dresden got flown. Like the amount of power behind this dude
Thing is insane. Like, yeah, because the bars were basically like paper to him. Like, he just walks through them like they don't exist. Like, metal bars are just like, just walk right through them. He's ripping people's bodies and bones and crunching them like instantaneous, just like no struggle whatsoever. This thing is insanely strong.
Which, that's not a new concept. Werewolves are, notoriously strong, but it just shows how strong he actually is. It's kind of crazy.
And then this shows how durable he is.
Yeah.
Guard's about to do.
Yeah, because the guard just unloaded. I don't know how many shots he got off.
Whole magazine, it sounded like.
Oh, it was a whole magazine. You're right. Yeah, because he kept firing until it just started clicking. And
he shot him point blank in the head.
Yeah, it didn't even stop him. Sounds like you on a bender on this. I hope you're not eviscerating dudes, dude and dudettes. That would be not good.
Then poor guard just gets just chewed right through, blood. Psh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He got knocked back into the
booth.
Into the booth. So he was momentarily safe, and then the werewolf just went straight through it, straight through the pain and straight through him. And it was just like, I think Dresden was just like at one point he couldn't see it anymore because the glass and everything was just covered in blood. So it was just like he couldn't see exactly what was going on. But just to step back for a second, Dresden was describing how McFinn in the werewolf form looked, and I thought it was really cool. He said the Loop Guru was a wolf in the same way a velociraptor is a bird. Same basic design, vastly different outcomes. So it's like he... well, here, I'll just read it. It must have been 5 or 5.5 feet tall at the tip of its hunched shoulders. It was wider than a wolf, as though a wolf had been squished down with an extra 500 or 600 pounds of muscle. That is ridiculous amount. Its pelt was shaggy, jet black, matted, except for the fresh blood that was making it glisten. Oh, this is where... So This is also the point where Dresden's blending potion wore off, and that's when all the color came in to for McFinn as well. Because it was like he saw it originally, but it was still black and gray. But now he sees like the full details of it. Yeah, it's horrific. It is an ancient. What do you call the one of the something monsters? One of the ancient monsters or something like that. And it very much is. It is the werewolf of all werewolves.
Yeah, Daddy.
Everything about it, Daddy Wolf, Papa Wolf. Everything about it was wrong, screamed with malice and hate and anger, and it carried a cloak of supernatural power with it that made my teeth hurt and my hair stand on end. It's crazy. Yeah, and this is where it was describing where the cop shot him with all of his rounds. The monster kept coming. The bullets bothered it no more than a fly ramming the forehead of a professional wrestler. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. In this moment, let me make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself real quick. Yeah, that's where the colors kept flooding back in. Oh yeah, and McFinn actually got a hold of his. So I was actually a little confused about this this interaction originally. The Loop Guru got a hold of Dresden's foot, and I thought he tore it clean off for a second.
Yeah,
but no,
that's what I thought was gonna happen. But he just got like a quick, like a little snap on it. He could have just immediately obliterated his foot.
Mm-hmm.
Sounded like it was gone at first. It was like, oh, no more foot.
That's what I thought. Which one of my boots? Yeah, he looked over my. I looked over my shoulder to see the Loop Guru with one of my boots held in its jaw. I guess the boot kind of helped with that cushion. Well, I say cushion. He still got pretty gnarly gashes on it. Oh yeah, I guess because the blood also on the ground, the Loop Guru couldn't get the proper leverage. Kane! Oh my god, look at him. Look at that goofball. He's a pretty kitty.
Oh. So upset.
He's
freaking out. Joking. Let him out.
He's way more cuddly than I thought he'd be.
Like cuddly, but yeah, he's a little needy boy. Especially with mommy. Like, mommy.
Oh yeah.
Wakes her up at 5 a.m. every day. Like jumping on her.
Oh, the cat zoomies at 3 a.m.
Oh, he just like comes up, stands on her. He's like, all right, I'm ready. You wake up and pet me now.
Yeah, so you couldn't get the proper leverage because of all the blood on the floor.
Slip it. Blood
oh
like
yeah, but he eventually did, and he lunged for Harry, but Harry was able to use I think it was the bracelet, but he was able to use magic to. What he was trying to do was reflect the Loop Guru's own power and momentum back against it. It overloaded his limits and split the difference, essentially throwing both of them apart equal forces, which the Loop Guru kind of like shoved back a little bit. Harry went flying and smashed. I think he actually smashed. I don't know if he smashed through the door or just got flown through
all the way down the hallway. Like I think.
Yeah.
And
I think it was through the door as well.
Through the door, yeah.
It's like crazy.
Ridiculous.
It was no wonder that I had lost to such a magnificently dangerous being. Oh yeah, I also described the eyes of the Loop Guru. The eyes were just like burning hatred. They were green, just like McFinn's, but they were just full of anger and hatred. Yeah, and at this point, Dresden almost kind of accepted his fate. He was like, "Yep, this is where I die." And just then, because I think it's like an L. At least that's how I picture it. An L hallway. He was flown back down the hallway, but there was also like.
So he hits
out
the end
door,
of the L.
Yeah.
Left. Yeah. So that's where the Special Investigations Unit is, just on that side.
Mm-hmm.
So he's right at that corner and tries to use all of his magic, and he's just like, I'm gonna get and then he just can't. He's just like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's when Murphy swings around the corner, and he screamed Murphy.
I do love that he like accepts it in such a way where he's like, well, I mean, it could have been any number of things, but this is pretty fine to go out to like this insanely powerful werewolf, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He absolutely did. He was like, it's a magnificently dangerous being, and I hated to go, but at least I hadn't taken a beating by some scrabby troll or whining, angsty-ridden vampire, is what he said, which is so good. He's like, nah, I went out to a werewolf. Hell yeah, I'm a badass. But yeah, Murphy shows up, and he screams out to her, and then the thing was on us. End of chapter. You know, I really hate Jim Butcher and his...
He is cutting it.
delicious... Yeah, he loves his...
good though.
Cliffhangers. Yeah. No, they are really good. I can't fault him for it. Yeah, that was the first. So we saw one victim. We saw Spike. Is that the only victim? No. Oh, we saw Spike and we saw Kim. So we've seen two victims. Although to be fair, actually, Spike could not have been killed by McFinn. They talk about that a couple times. Like he was
before the full
moon.
Or Spike was
Right.
after, and wait, no, Spike was before the full moon, and then the other guy was after.
The other guy and his bodyguards were after. Yeah. But Kim was killed by
Oh yeah, by Finn or
McFinn.
McFinn, yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen his handiwork before. It's so much easier just to call him Finn, but yeah, it's McFinn. Irish heritage, that makes sense. So we've seen his handiwork before, but always the aftermath, never the actual doing. What was your first reaction, or what was your reaction to the horrificness of the prison?
I knew he was gonna be powerful, but I was like, whoa, this thing is freaky. Like because he doesn't look like the normal werewolf you'd imagine. He's not a wolf. He's some freaky, powerful 1,000-pound muscle monster. Ugh, he's just insane, like insanely powerful.
I brought this up last time. The Wendigo, it being kind of a primal being. It reminds me of that, where the Wendigo is more lanky. That would be the best way to put it. This is like the opposite. But yeah, no, it was same. I knew he was going to be powerful, but I was not ready for how powerful he was. Like, he was just insane. I mean, going through, because these, yeah, there were individual rooms. Like, normally you'd think of jail cell with like the iron bars and whatnot. These were individual rooms, like concrete rooms. So I would assume reinforced doors. Hey, OG, what's up, dude? I'm not gonna. Oh, you can redeem. Hey, no problem. I actually, you guys are free to use the redeems. I turned them down for my side so I can focus a little bit more, but you guys can still hear them just as fine. So appreciate it. Use them away. Yeah, it's all good. All good. We got 3 new redeems for Daisy, so enjoy. Because she's a cute little goofball. I think the guard dog one is my favorite, where she's just hanging on the couch going ruff, ruff outside the window. It's so cute. Yeah, I just wasn't ready for how much power is behind him. It's just kind of crazy, and it only gets crazier going into chapter 18. Yeah, so Murphy's standing there in a shooting stance. She was wearing jeans again, hiking boots, a flannel shirt. I love the fact that, I don't know if it's because he's just in the moment of like, this is the end, but he's just like, man, she's cute.
Yep,
She
dude,
was
he's
wearing
got.
her down,
I love it.
Absolutely, he has a thing for her.
Got a thing about her ears too, maybe. I don't know. She's got cute earlobes all the time.
You know, it's actually a good point, because he has brought up those earrings a couple times. She's not wearing them now, which we'll find out here in just a moment why. Um, but he just, yeah, he goes over hiking, a flannel shirt rolled up past her elbows, a bandana around her throat. She was without makeup or jewelry. Her earlobes curiously naked and vulnerable without earrings. Vulnerable? What are you talking about,
Maybe.
sir?
Oh, he loves it.
Oh, he does. He does. He likes her. Her punky little haircut fell down around her eyes as she raised her gun, just thrust out her lower lip and puffed
She
out a
puffs her
breath.
head. Yeah. She blows the hair out of her eyes before she fires.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
Boom. And then bang, bang.
It's so funny. But he does remark that the gun is not her usual heavy caliber Colt automatic, semi-automatic. It was a much smaller, sleeker caliber that instead of going, that made little sharp bark sounds instead of the wham sound that the other gun made. Not important, but it was a nice touch, I thought, because I was like, oh yeah, I can hear that.
Because it's a 22 this time around. That which you ever
Mhm.
fired a 22? There's yeah, nothing compared to normal caliber.
No, there's so much fun for target practice, but there's no kick whatsoever at all. And he said the first thing was it wasn't usual gun. Second thing he noticed was the sound. The third thing he noticed when the first bullet hit the loop guru's chest, blood flew from the creature's flattened and the creature flattened and buckled as though surprised. With the second and third shot slammed into its front legs, the limbs slipped and went out from under it. The loop guru snarled and rolled its momentum to the side, put its head down, and simply smashed its way through the wall and into the room beyond. He did a barrel roll through a wall. What?
He's so strong. He just like
was,
when he trips, he goes through walls. Oops.
yeah. Oh no.
It's crazy strong.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
But it bled.
It did bleed. It did bleed.
Juggernaut.
From this little 22.
He's the juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Juggernaut, bitch. And Murphy just looks at him, and I told Aunt Edna I'd never get any use out of those earrings.
Boom.
And we're like, oh, inherited silver. That she melted them down into bullets. She even said she makes her own competition rounds. I think she said the 22 was actually her competition gun, but either way. Oh, that's right. Dresden's like 22. I complain, still breathless. Couldn't you have made some 38s or some 44s? And she was like, "Bitch and wine." That's really funny. Which they haven't bantered back and forth like this in a while, so maybe things are okay. I mean,
except for the part where she's still trying to arrest him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what am I saying? Because she's like, yeah, you're still under arrest, bud.
And she's like,
He's
"You'll
like,
go right your brains out."
come
But you,
on.
and then they start arguing in between each.
Yeah, each little step, she starts reading his Miranda rights, and they Oh, and then she looks at the handcuffs, and she's like, Christ, Dresden, what's with the handcuffs? Because his handcuffs her handcuffs are still on him, but they're just cut so they're not connected. I love their banter; it's so good.
And in the last book, he got out of the one, so he still had on one of his wrists though.
Yep. So he's ruined 2 of her handcuffs so far. So good. Did it play the redeem, Looney? I didn't see it actually play the redeem at all. Okay, it is. Just want to make sure. Yeah, so them not be Dresden not being dead, he kind of takes, and I took an inventory. Loop Guru's teeth had scored my foot through the boot. It hurt, and and my sock was soaked in blood, but ultimately he wasn't like in um
Not dead
he
yet.
wasn't gonna bleed out. Oh yeah, when the magic like ricochet or propelled both of them or propelled Dresden down this hallway. He hit the wall with such force he bit his tongue. So his
Yes.
mouth is he tastes blood in his mouth as well. I forgot about that. Um, he's like, bastard chewed my good boot. It's funny. Even
And
after all this, he's still making jokes.
that's when he starts losing it hysterically because he's just in shock.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. He does start like losing his mind. It did. All right, cool. Thank you, Looney. Wasn't sure. Um, yeah. So Carmichael dragged him back, and they handed him off to, I think he was some rookie. His name's Rudolph, but they call him Rudy. Rudy's just not really not able to process everything that's going on. They're like, take him to the office, and he's like, okay.
And he's like,
All right.
like, focus up,
Oh, that's
youngin'.
right. Yeah, Rudy says, you saw it on the security monitor, right? What the thing did to Sergeant Hamilton. Oh yeah, by the way, the scene in this hallway is horrific. Because before before Murphy came around the corner, the werewolf was, well, there's two cops that were dragging a body without a head down the hallway, I guess.
That's when he comes back. So he.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, they have Rudy pull him back into the office and all that.
Rudy's freaking out so much. He's trying to get water for Dresden. He's like, hey, Rudolph, I need some water.
But before that, Carmichael's handing Dresden off to Rudy, he said something very specific that I was like, oh shit.
He's the
it
one
says
who
Carmichael
knows.
glared at me. Yeah, he's the guy who knows. If he comes to and says something, listen to him. And I was like, oh, he believes. I loved it. It makes me like Carmichael so much more. But yeah, the rookie dragged him back, like you said. He asked for some water, which he immediately splashed on his. I also love the rookie had, like, his nerves were so just like his adrenaline was pumping so hard that he crushed the first two paper cups before he could get water in it. But he got water. Dresden threw it on his face. He's like, all right, the second one was for drinking, and then he got some water. But yeah, you're right. Dresden was just kind of being almost hysterical at that point. I mean, he was still like, he wasn't completely gone, but he was like, he had laughing fits, and I think the exhaustion, the pain,
all the blood loss,
the exertion of energy, was just really getting to him. The whole time Rudy is just like, my God, this isn't happening. He's like, pull yourself together, man.
Yeah.
And then you got the water.
So he needs.
Yeah, Dresden's just. Go ahead.
Dresden is thinking. He finally kind of comes to, and then he realizes, like, all right, I gotta go into Murphy's office to get my stuff. And he's like, I hope her computer's not on. And he goes in there, starts grabbing his stuff, and it's on, of course. And while he's grabbing his stuff, it just goes. It just dies. And he's like,
it's
what did
comical.
you just do? I did nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. You didn't see anything.
You didn't see
never
anything.
here.
This never happened. Because he knows Murphy's gonna be pissed. Yeah, and he's asking him, like, what are you doing? And Murphy's like, it bleeds. Murphy shot it, and it puts blood all over the floor. And Rudy's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But Dresden's like, I know now. I know what to do. Yeah, and Rudy's like, maybe you should sit down. You don't look so good. And you're sort of under arrest still. Like, no time for that.
I ain't got time for that arrested stuff. Let's go.
Actually, he says, I can't be under arrest right now. I don't have the time. I love it so much. But yeah, he also asks if Carmichael still has the dolls in his drawer for the kids who are waiting for their parents, which is super sad. But Um, he's like, what? And he's like, go get it, man. I just love how he's just manhandling this new kid, new guy. And like we can sort of piece it together because he's done similar. Dresden has done similar spells to this using like blood, like the tracking thing. So we kind of have a sense of like, okay, he's doing something with the
And
doll connection.
and you can kind of reference from the first book where so the one guy how he would explode the hearts out, he was doing it through a doll. Yeah, so he had like a doll in a
Yeah.
circle,
Mhm.
and you do it on a small scale, it happens in large in life as well. So he's got something to connect. He's got the blood. So yeah, we kind of see what's taking shape here. It's thinking.
Exactly. Exactly. We can definitely follow this train of thought. Um, so he gets the animal. I'm talking out of myself.
It's a
And he's getting it all ready.
it's a Snoopy doll.
That's right, it was a Snoopy doll. Yeah, I forgot about that. Um,
And oh yeah, because now he's got his blasting rod again. So he's gonna go.
Yep.
So he like does this super cool blow a hole through a wall with his fire spell, turns it to ash, makes a hole in the wall,
oh, that was really cool. Yeah.
and he's like, "Damn, I don't have
Forgot
my
about that.
duster." That'd been sweet.
Oh, that's right. That would have been cool. That would have looked awesome.
And then pops in, and and then this
Yep.
is where they're taking like a body without a head on. Like everyone's just
Yep.
getting obliterated.
This and that rolls into chapter 19. These two chapters back to
Oh.
back were intense. But yeah, you're right. That's when he starts going down the hallway towards the um mayhem. But yeah, they're dragging a body without a head. Two Oh yeah, because before that, Murphy and like a squad of people were going after the Loop Guru. But yeah, they're trying to retreat, and then the Loop Guru rounds the corner, is just absolutely decimating officers. It is a horrific scene, um, which just feeds into the power that Dresden's trying to harness, his anger, much like you said, like with Victor in the first book, the anger being able to fuel magic and straight power. Um, oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say, what is this describing? That's he charged the wall and walks through it like a badass. Mm-mm-mm. I lost my place. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I think this is where Dresden again tries to like ready his blasting rod and is trying to build this power. But again, Murphy comes around the corner and pop 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 with the gun, and it throws the Loop Guru off its what's the word? Not off its feet, but it just like it makes him unstable. Um
Hey, Pie. How you
Right.
doing,
Okay.
man?
Hey, thanks, Pie, for heading over. Yeah, the link up above is for Xeno's chat, so definitely pop on over, say hi to him. Be sure to leave a like, and if you are enjoying, I implore you to leave a like on both streams, please, please, and thank you. Yeah. So the attention of the werewolf is kind of switching between he was going after the police, then he sees Dresden, so he starts to go at him. Then Murphy shoots him, so he swings for Murphy, and that's when Dresden panics because the Loop Guru goes around the corner. He can't really see what happens, and as Harry rounds the corner in time to see Murphy standing in front of a litter of bodies, take a last shot at the Loop Guru, and then it snarled and she vanished underneath a bulk. Harry screams no, and before he can do anything, Carmichael beat him to it. It said Carmichael beat me to it. His round belly. Oh, I don't know if I want to read all this, but
Yeah, he kind of gets.
Carmichael falls to the Loop Guru. He throws his body in front of him. Go ahead.
Yeah, he gets his stomach sliced, and
Yep.
yep, and
Yep.
Carmichael gets crushed, and
Thrown against the wall.
that's the end of Carmichael.
Yep. Carmichael. He threw Carmichael into the wall with a sickening crunch of bones and a gout of blood from the man's mouth. So he jumped in front to give Murphy enough time to. Oh, he also had a broken shotgun that he shoved in the werewolf's mouth as well at the last second as he was getting hit.
Saves Murphy. Totally
Murphy.
saves her with his own life. So Murphy gets like one of her arms messed up though. But
Yes, yeah, the werewolf's able to chomp cleanly through the shotgun. They call it riot guns, but I think they're just shotguns. They're special riot shotguns, I guess. And Dresden shouts Murphy roll because she's still underneath the werewolf. She's only saved temporarily or momentarily. And that's when the werewolf threw Carmichael's body, and it says Carmichael's corpse. So it's confirmed that immediately it's confirmed that he is dead. Part of me is like, maybe I don't want him to die, but
super dead.
He's pretty dead. And I think Murphy being in danger, and because Dresden liked Carmichael, like they had their own little
They're like little
back and forth. Yeah, but they were, I would say, they were definitely friends, and the mixture of those two things and just everything that's happening just filled Harry with the dread, fear, anger, all of the necessary emotions that he needed as he shot a spell at the werewolf. And it was essentially, it's like a energy lance. I don't know, the description of this spell was so intense. It was just a beam of light that just like rocketed towards him. And I need to read this because this just is how intense the power is. We've seen at least 2 occasions that Dresden has overdone his spells. Very recently with McFinn in the woods, where he tried to do the little, spin Tara around and put her on her butt, and it turned into like a tornado.
And that was done without any focus tool to make it even stronger. Right. This time he's got his blasting rod.
He used the verbal component, because we've seen him with the lightning on McFinn without any sort of support. We've seen him with the verbal component with the tornado incident, and also the elevator. Did he use the blasting rod in the elevator? No, he didn't. Mm-hmm. Did he?
He didn't have
in the first book. He just said the word, right? So this is him with, like, I would say his all-out power with a verbal component and, like you said, the blasting rod. But when it hit McFinn, this is what happened. The power lifted the Loop Guru, hurtling it over the wounded figures, moaning on the floor, down the hall, into holding, through the security door, through the cell door immediately across from it, then through the brick exterior wall of the building, and out into Chicago night. But it wasn't over yet. The lance of power carried the Loop Guru across the street, through the windows of a condemned building across from the station, and through a series of walls within, each one shattering with a red brick roar. Before the red fire died away, I could see on the far side of the building across the street the lights of the next block over through the hole the Loop Guru had made. What? That is some Dragon Ball Z level destruction. He hit him through not one, nay, but 2 full buildings. In one spell. I wonder at what point is this Harry's max power? I don't know. Like,
he's hasn't even gone Super Saiyan yet with your
No, he
analogy.
hasn't.
Sorry. I don't know. I have
No,
no
he
idea.
hasn't.
That could not be even a thing. He's just a wizard, maybe, and maybe he's just as cool as he'll ever be. I don't know. We don't know
The
it yet.
Thing and Hulk having fisticuffs in downtown, kinda. Yeah, no, it's like out of a Marvel movie. Um, I One of my favorite parts is like after all of that and after all the mayhem and well, okay, two things. One, he after the whole thing, he does hear McFinn roar in the distance. It's like, oh, the thing is still conscious. Awesome. My favorite part is though that one of the oh no, it was one of the cellmates. One of the cellmates leans out of the door and sees the like holes, and he's like, "Damn." That's all he says. It's just "damn." That was so good. Um, yeah, I want to take a pause. Like, what? Well, first off, it's just like Battle of the Titans out here. What was your reaction to, I guess, all of that, especially Dresden's final spell?
I mean, it's kind of bittersweet because it's like all this carnage just happened, but he did give him the big blast, so he pretty much saves the day, or at least Murphy, because she's like the only one left. Maybe Rudolph, I guess, is there, and
Um,
maybe a couple other
Rudolph is
officers,
there.
but
Some of the inmates did survive because
it's just
the
carnage at this point, and
the two guys carrying, or the two guys dragging the corpse, did they get
they
attacked? I don't remember.
they're kind of unnamed anyways. They sound like officers, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, there's so much carnage, you're right. Oh yeah, because another point when Dresden was walking down the hallway, he saw where the werewolf punched through the wall into what he assumed was the middle of the assault group. That, excuse me, that Murphy was leading them, and it looked like there was friendly fire as well.
Yeah,
Like the werewolf jumped in between them to try and cause confusion, so they wouldn't shoot at each other and catch each other in a crossfire. But some of those officers looked like they had bullet holes, so I think there was some
some friendly
panicked
fires.
friendly fire. Not that it mattered; the werewolf would have just like eviscerated him anyway. But um,
That's how
it
bad it
it
was,
just
though.
adds to the utter chaos. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, and then from outside, over the sirens and moans of the noises of the city night, I heard a long, furious howl. So McFinn's still kicking,
Yep.
still conscious.
So he
So
gets the next spell at least, though. Too. Blind and
yep, yep.
subdue.
He takes out Snoopy doll. I actually think I have the description of it here. Yeah, because Rudy asked him like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Thaumaturgy." He's like, "What? Magic? Stop." He basically make a symbolic link between the little thing, which he points to the Snoopy doll, and the big thing, making the difference, making the small, making making it happen on a smaller scale, and it happens on the larger scale. So he were, oh, it's funny too. Dresden, does he say this or does he? No, he's just thinking it. He said killing him, being McFinn, wouldn't bring back any of the dead men in these bloody hallways, but I could keep any more men from dying tonight. I could do that without killing him. Killing monsters isn't nearly as much of, oh yeah, and then he's like, the White Council will have issues with me killing McFinn, but McFinn's not a human anymore, or not currently a human. He's a monster, and killing monsters isn't nearly as much of an issue with the council. They don't hold an equal opportunity mercy. So that was kind of funny. Um, Something else in here that I wanted to mention. I think I'll find it in a second. But yeah, he tore off a strip of his own bloody jumpsuit, bound it. What just happened? Okay. Bound it across the Snoopy's eyes, ears, and bound up the ends of its fuzzy, cute little paws, then the mouth, as though to muzzle it. And that's what you're saying. He used the spell with the Snoopy doll to essentially bind him, blind him, and bind him. Um, which we don't know if it worked. We just assumed it worked because
I mean,
who
he did it.
knows
Yeah,
where
that
McFinn is
seems
right
like a
now.
pretty like. I mean, he did. He said like to kill it, he would probably end up killing himself. It's it's so
Oh, he did say
powerful.
that. Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't need to do that anyway. So he did something easier that was a more of a sure thing. It sounded like.
There's something I wanted to talk about, and I don't see it in my notes. Um, I may be getting ahead of myself, and maybe it's ahead here somewhere. He didn't mention the families yet, right? There
The
was two. He was talking about the White Council, and he mentioned two families. And I wanted to bring them up and talk about them, but I don't see it in my notes.
I
I'll
don't
leave
think
it for
that's
now.
till
We might get
later
to it
because
later.
later he talks about what's her name? Elite
Oh, Elaine.
playing that.
Okay, maybe that is later. Yeah, okay, okay. But yeah, at this point, Dresden walks past Carmichael's corpse. Stunned, Murphy was rocking back and forth over it, weeping, shaking, while a man tried to slide a blanket over her shoulders. Um, and oh yeah, and Dresden said he died a hero. He died protecting uh, Murphy, and then he goes to say meaningless to be a hero, which I take it as him caring about Carmichael and being like, why did he sacrifice himself? What it's a waste, and that he shouldn't have been a hero. He should have just stayed alive. But you know, I take it as how
Yeah.
Dresden is coping with Carmichael's
Yep.
death, because it can be taken that it's just like, why would he protect Murphy? Like how and that's not how I think it should be
No,
interpreted.
it's
But
yeah. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't want him to
frustration with
die.
the
Yeah.
death. Yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, and at this point, Dresden, um, yeah, he just kind of like almost like an outer body experience, I'd say. He's just wandering just trying to get out of all of this, and that's when the paramedics, other police officers, firefighters start flooding in, trying to take care of people. At one point, I think it was when he was starting to go down the stairs, he he almost just like ate it. And I think a firefighter, if I'm not mistaken, caught him and was like, "I got you, man. Are you okay? Like, do you need help?" And started leading him outside. And once he got outside, I think at that point he almost collapsed as well. But Susan caught him, and Susan said, "I got you. I got you, Harry. Just relax. I got you. Just relax." And so I did, and that was the end of the chapter. Um, but just his it kind of just explained his just absolute fatigue of just everything, and him being like, well, I mean, like we were saying, he got beat up twice, he got shot, he he had a little bit of recovery after that. Then he got beat, oh no, sorry, he got beat up, shot, a little bit of recovery, beat up again by McFinn, um and now all of this, like, we thought he went through hell for the first book. This is even worse. Like, I think this is all taken place in a 24-hour period, I want to say.
Yeah, I think he got like after he got shot.
Yeah.
There was the one he missed like a day about, and that
Yeah.
was it so far.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Then we come to a chapter that I found so interesting. But before I get ahead of myself, did you want to add anything else about
Oh, no.
any of the previous two chapters? All of that?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about Carmichael's death?
Sad. I mean,
Yeah. I was sadder than I expected. Because, like, when Carmichael was first introduced, he was just an ass.
yeah,
And I didn't really like him, you know?
lightened him up a little bit for this book, but it's because going out. I don't know. I kind of just like,
Yeah.
it's sad. There's a lot of sad dead people in this one.
Hey, Chloe. Thanks for popping on by.
I just feel like we're not any closer figuring out the actual problem that we're trying to deal with here. We're just dealing with the side stuff. We don't really know who is the actual killer now. So
It's crazy that we haven't at any point. It's so well. I don't want to say any point because we got the breadcrumb of McFinn, but it's still the whole book is just like, did this person do it? Well, they had like the means, but not the opportunity. Speaking of like Marcone, it's like he had a reason to do it, but he doesn't have like
wouldn't have done
he
it
didn't
that
know
way.
about the magic circle.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
Right.
been done
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And then it's like, well, what about Tara? Like, she's not human. What are her motives? But she does genuinely, at least from our understanding, love. Oh, I didn't update my chat.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
I mean, this is about to come up in the conversation he has with himself.
Right. I'm sorry. I am getting ahead of myself. Um, sorry. Let me update this real quick. Yeah, we'll just roll into chapter 20 because it is definitely a conversation that comes up. Why is that not updated? There we go. Cool. So in chapter 20, we start off with Dresden waking up in a dark place. It was like the inside of a warehouse or a big underground garage, all black with a smooth, even floor and a pool of bleak, sterile radiance in the middle. So almost like, I think kind of like a interrogation room, not with a table and not obviously that small, but more on an open area. But that's, you know how like the interrogation room has the one hanging light, at least
Yeah.
old school like films, you know what I mean? Has that one hanging light with the light in the center. That's what I think of when he described this room, but on just like a warehouse size instead, just everything bigger. And Dresden walks into the light, and as I did, there appeared a circle in the circle opposite of me, myself. Only better groomed, dressed in a mantle duster of black leather, not the sturdy, if stylish, canvas that I wore. Not expecting that. First off, I was like, okay, what's going on? I also didn't it say he had a pencil mustache or something, or maybe he just had a more kept
He had a
mustache.
better beard, like a nice short beard. Very like his. I guess more of his ideal self is what it sounds like. Trimmed up nicer. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like so,
Mm-hmm.
he's got
Trim
the
nicer,
nicer
okay.
clothes. Like he's the way that he would want to be. I guess ideally.
Yep. And the first thing the double says, Harry, you look like shit. And you look like me, he replies. There is kind of like the standoff moment where Dresden's like, what is going on? And then the double is like, you're unconscious, you moron. We can finally talk to one another. And Dresden's like, you're evil, Harry. You're my evil twin. He's like, stop it. I'm not your evil Harry. I'm just subconscious Harry. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I thought.
Go ahead.
I was like, oh, he's evil,
Me
Harry.
too, yeah.
Oh no, he's just you.
I thought it was his dark impulse side, like he always talks about.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And he's like, no, you idiot. I'm just your subconscious. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. And then they kind of have this back and forth. I love it how we'll just say Harry and then his double. I love how Harry he's still like witty, he's still like punny, he's still like, you know, those jabs, those snide remarks, and the double is just like, see, that's why you're the main Harry. Is like, I could never do sarcasm or that wit. I thought that was just really funny. But the whole experience was just him and his subconscious. Well, it was a couple things. One, it was more of his subconscious. Well, here, I'll just go in order. I don't want to bounce around. He said, let's see, my double snorted. Oh My phone is freaking out. My double snorted. If you weren't getting pretty close to crazy, would you be talking to yourself right now? And that's actually to your point, like you were saying earlier, like he was just giggly. He was crazed at his like fatigue level
Yeah.
earlier inside
Blood
the
loss would
precinct.
definitely cause shock and yeah,
Oh,
all
sure, yeah.
those symptoms.
And then his double was like, we need to go through some things. You need to address some things. And the first one being, and the double gestured, and there was Murphy as she had appeared in the hallway of the police station over, you know, all the bodies and stuff like that. And Dresden was like, Murphy, I said, stars above. Yeah, and he was just like, he was more of like, you need to come to terms with Murphy. One, you like her, obviously. You need to ask her out. He's like, what? Two, and it's kind of like what we've been saying the whole time. He said, he said, Harry said, it's my fault. And the double said, no, it's not your fault. Nothing, Harry, he said, what happened in the police station wasn't your fault. And then he's like hell it was. It wasn't. And then the double interject, but you, sorry. Right. Harry said, if I hadn't been faster, gotten there sooner, or if I told her the truth from the beginning, and the double said, but you didn't. Like Harry's caught up in this whole, what if I had did something different, where the double is like, no, you need to address what's happening now and what you're going to do next. You need to stop looking at the past. And you had some pretty damn compelling reasons not to tell her. Ease up on yourself, man. You can't change the past. And that's just like, he was just focused on the past constantly. And then to what you were saying earlier, you've been trying to protect Murphy all along instead of making her able to protect herself. That was so, I think that's so true for the first book and also this book. Like you were saying earlier, that he needs to open up to Murphy, and his subconscious is just telling him, like, that's what you need to do. Because he's like, well, what was I supposed to do? And the double's like, tell her everything. Tell her about the White Counselor. Tell her about the Never Never. All of it. Which I feel like, I know you and I have definitely felt that way. He needs to tell her everything. But I feel like the reader, or at least the vast majority of readers, also wanted that. Like, that's what everyone wants. We want Dresden to open up. Yeah, right. Educate her. Yeah. Give her the tools so she can protect herself. Sorry, I messed that. And they talked about that first. And then after that, he's like, and you should ask her out sometime. And Harry's like, I should what? He's like, you heard me. You're repressing big time, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
I was like, okay, for not being able to do sarcasm, the double's still pretty good at it. Yeah, I feel like the subconscious of Harry is just, it's the reader. Well, in some parts, like other parts we'll get to here in a second, but it's just what the reader, or what you and I at least, have wanted him to do from the beginning. And great, like the double said, he had his reasons for not telling her. Like he had good reasons for not telling her, but I think he, I think telling her everything was the better option from the start. She's a friend. She was a partner. Like, I think I still am a little unsure, because he does say, if the White Council, I think this is probably where the name came in. If the White Council found out that he told her everything, like, they might go after her.
Yeah.
And the double's like, she's a big girl. Like, the White Council does not want to mess with Murphy, because she is, she's scrappy. So, yeah, and then that's when the double gets to the Elaine, which gives us a little bit more insight of who Elaine was. He says, I'm thinking this has to do with Elaine. How about you? And then there she was, and a girl, elegant height, perhaps 18 to 19, gawky, and all legs and arms. And it describes this younger woman who Dresden was familiar with. She wore a pendant amulet identical to the one that Dresden wore, but Dresden's is has more wear and tear, which they don't explain.
Which
Because
sounds
it was.
like this is memories from the past to me, and he gave that
Mhm.
to her, so she was wearing it,
Oh,
and it was a
that's not what
nicer,
I
cleaner
thought.
version. This is maybe this is just what I'm assumption, and because he was with her, and then Justin, the master's there trying to make him drink this
Hmm.
blood-filled chalice, of course, and this
Hmm.
is where some bad stuff happened, of course.
I didn't. So we know the necklace is Dresden's mother's. I thought she is either a sibling, which I don't think so. But I think there was just a possibility that I very quickly was like, no, she's not a sibling. Um, and what I thought was she is like it's a covent thing. Like the necklace wasn't like it was part of an organization.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So
You know
she
what I mean?
was clearly involved in this whole dark magic thing with his master Justin, and she was
Hmm.
doing something in a circle to like facilitate whatever magic they were doing to make Dresden, join their little cult or
Yeah.
whatever they were trying to make him do. So she was in
So,
on this, and then of course the whole place burned down, and they only ever found one set of bones, and he's like,
yeah.
"She's totally alive, bro." And he's like, "No, no."
Yeah, it was never found. Um, I thought it was interesting. Well, so I now I'm not sure because I thought there were two separate necklaces. I thought it was just a group
Maybe that still could
that
be,
she was a member of.
but maybe
But
it
I
was.
think you're
I think it may have been his it's obviously his love interest,
I think
and
you're
that's
right.
why they bring up Murphy and like how he
Yeah.
doesn't want to get close to anybody because he's probably really hurt over this one girl.
And I think you're right with the comparison of the necklace, his being worn and torn and hers not being. I think you're right. I think he gave her the necklace. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's a really good point. Just to back up just a second, there's a description of Elaine being beautiful, vital, and poisonous as any snake, which I thought was very interesting. But you're right. Yeah, the next scene of her depicted Elaine. It says it's a sigil meant for. Oh, she was doing a ritual with a sigil meant for focus pain and fury into a tangible power that had been used to hold a foolish young man, presumably Dresden, helpless while his mentor offered him one last chance to sip. Mentor being Justin, offered him one last sip from a chalice of fresh, hot blood. So just like you explained, she was in cahoots with his mentor to try and bring him to the dark side or dark magic. Um, we're getting more of those breadcrumbs,
Yep.
more of those delicious, delicious breadcrumbs. Um,
Picture
and
here.
yeah, and it's a lot more complicated because we knew from previously Dresden killed his master, Justin, or his mentor. Well, either master, mentor. Um, and we knew that Elaine was a very sore subject for Dresden because Bob brought her up and he absolutely snapped on him. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bob brought her up.
Yep,
Yeah,
he did.
he snapped on him. Uh, and then this part was interesting. Well, I mean, it makes sense though. The double said, as long as you told yourself, yes, sorry, as long as you told yourself responsible for Justin's death and Elaine's fall, it still colors everything you think and do. Yeah, it's the evil that haunts him or the past that haunts Dresden. Um, and then, like you said, he believes she's still alive. They never found the body. There was a fire. They only found one charred corpse. So I think you're right. I think she's probably going to come back up. Obviously, I think she is probably going to try and corrupt him again, but we'll see. We will see. Venomous lady. Hiff. Yeah, he has alluded to how the council deals with things, and he didn't want Murphy on that radar. No, absolutely, yeah. Council does not sound like a nice, nice group of people. Nice group at all. And then the double brings up Tara West, and double. I love how the double puts it. He's like, "Why in the hell are you trusting her being Tara?" And it's like, she's not human. She can shape into a wolf creature, so she's some sort of shape shifter. Yeah, right. Why do you trust her?
Got the
Um,
alphas too, and the alphas are like
right.
didn't even confront her really about it, and he knows that McFinn didn't know about that. So like, what's going on
Mhm.
there?
And the double says that she has some kind of hold of the group of young people that you were mentioning, and that is a favorite target for creatures of the Never Never. Like all the signs are there. Um, and then, like you're saying, when I was going over the information, like McFinn couldn't have committed all the murders. Most particularly, he couldn't have committed the most important murder, and that was the industrialist, someone the third. I don't remember his
Yeah,
name,
well, the
but
guy that had the
and his
money
bodyguard.
that was like the
Hmm.
whole
Yep,
passage, yeah, Northwest Passage project.
Marcone's partner
Yeah,
as well. Yep. Um, and and then Dresden asks, "So who could have done it?" And the double's like, "The fiance. Like she is the most likely culprit, even though she does." Excuse me. We think she loves. I mean, it's pretty clear she loves McFinn, but she has like all the puzzle pieces for doing the killing. We may not know the complete motive, but she has all of the other pieces.
I don't think it's
Means
her,
opportunity and all that.
but we'll
I don't think
find
it
out.
is either.
Yeah,
I don't think it is either. Um, but so we still have the FBI angle that you brought up that I never thought
yeah, I'm
about.
totally
And as
still
soon
on
as
the
you brought
FBI
it up,
angle, man.
I am too, man. As soon as you brought that up, now reading all of this, like I was like, wait a minute, it could be the FBI.
They
They're the ones that are like they have all the power. They,
they
I mean,
tried
for
to
the most
shoot it.
part.
Maybe even when they tried to shoot Murphy at the beginning, it wasn't Murphy they were trying to shoot. They were trying to shoot Dresden, just trying to take him out
Ooh,
immediately. I don't know.
maybe that's a good point. Um, but then as this goes on, like the double and Dresden are bouncing ideas off each other, or kind of like filling in the gaps for each other, kind of working through it, because they're talking about the alphas, the group of teenagers, and then Dresden's like, but they didn't have a motive, and the double's like, well, because Tara told them maybe the teenagers to go kill them,
They could have
and
had the
if
knowledge. They could have broken the circle.
yeah, but ultimately, and like we were saying, your instincts are telling you that she is in love with McFinn and that she wouldn't act against him, which is fair. Like she has all the means, she has the opportunity. Sorry, I was punching my microphone. Um, but the the motive doesn't make
Doesn't
sense,
make sense
and
yet. I guess
and
you never
that's
know.
yet
Could
true,
change.
true. Um, I have this written down. Yeah, you told me about Elaine too. Um, oh, that's right. Yeah, he thought like he knew. Oh, she's in love with him, but that's a little another crumb. That well, yeah, you knew Elaine was in love too, and look what happened to her. So maybe we don't know. Like you said, we don't have all the facts there. But the double does say, I don't think you've run into the real killers yet. Oh, the double also brings up like, hey, don't forget about Parker,
So he,
Peter, Parker,
yeah, Parker
and the
and the
Stray
wolves
Wolves.
coming after him. And what I love the double say. So at first he's like, I don't think you run into him, and then he's like, well, like maybe we haven't run into him, or maybe you just don't know that they're the bad guy
Yeah,
kind of thing. Like, Mike, I'm still on that FBI kick. Come on, maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
it makes the most sense. Here's the family one that I was talking about. um, what were they talking about that brought it up? Oh, okay. So, he says the double says, sorry, Harry asks, but why? Asking about like the motives and everything, and of an unknown killer, because he's like, you may not have met the killer yet, you may not know who they are, what their motives are, and he's like, but why would they target McFinn then? And the double says maybe because they didn't want him putting the Northwest Passage project through, or G, maybe because he's a freaking werewolf, Harry, and someone caught onto it and they wanted him dead. And this is the part that I was curious about. You know, there are organizations who would do that. Some of the Ventori, Venatori, and the Umbrorum,
Victory Hunters.
Umbrorum, um, members of the White Council, others who are in the know. So yeah, I didn't know who these Venatori were, or the
Venatori are like they're referred to in other hunting the creature stuff, other
Are they?
media
Okay.
in some ways. However, the White Council stuff totally new.
Yeah, the White Council is almost as big a mystery as everything else happening. Like, we know of the White Council. We only know of Morgan from the White Council.
And he's only one of their
we only know of
enforcers.
Morgan. Right. So we have no idea. I mean, we know a little bit about them and how Dresden feels about them, but we really don't know the inner workings, who's on the council. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that it was just like, yeah, he might just be hunted because he's a werewolf. Like,
Yeah.
there's no massive plot here. He's a werewolf and they want him gone.
But
It does take.
feels massive plotty to me. I don't know. Too many.
Yeah, I think that's too easy. Yeah, I agree. I think there's too much going on for that to be the case. I just thought of something though. The Loop Guru is a inherited curse. If someone and the bloodline can't die, so if someone killed I don't know if McFinn's the last of the bloodline. Let's just say he is hypothetically. If someone kills him, would it break the curse?
No, it's I
don't know.
I assume it would jump to another relative. It would
Okay.
be transferred somehow.
It would find a
Other
way.
person, yeah.
That makes sense because it's a ancient powerful curse. So, oh yeah, and then the double is just like, hey, remember all these things that you really need to be worried about, like the fact that you pissed off Marcone by not accepting his deal, like the head of the werewolf gang who has to kill you now to
Save face, basically.
his head. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, make sure to be like, remember all of these things you really should be worried about. I thought that was just kind of funny. And Harry's just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, you haven't forgot about Parker and the Street Wolves entirely. Oh, and then we got some juiciness. The double says, oh no, okay, so Harry says, who are you, my mother? And the double snapped his fingers and says, that reminds me, right, your mother. And he broke off, glancing up around him and the expression of frustration coming over his face. And he said, oh hell. And then Dresden woke up to, I think, Susan? One of them, I think it was Susan, shaking him awake. And I was like, no. I wanted to know more about your mom. They teased us again. Because we're still, the last we heard about his mom and his and her situation was from the demon, Chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the demons being familiar with her, and the Dark Prince wanting her for his side, and all of that, and her not ascendance. What was it? Redemption?
Yeah, redemption. So
something like that.
It sounded like her soul was bound to go down to the demons, join their side, but she got out of it. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he's waking up in the passenger seat of Susan's car, with. I don't know which one's waking up. It's either Susan or Tara. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm awake. I'm awake." And Tara's like, "Oh," he's like, "What's going on?" or something. Tara's like, "It's not good. If you have any power left, wizard, you should prepare to use it. We're being followed." And that's the end of the chapter. And I was like, "My God, why do you do this to me?" I I mean, granted, it was 7 o'clock this morning when I read that, so I was like, "Cool, I'm okay with stopping and falling asleep." But on any other circumstance, I would not have been able to stop reading
Yeah.
because I was like, "Nope." He's already completely tapped. Granted, I don't know how. Wait, he was asleep for. Did it say?
Not very
He wasn't
long.
asleep for long.
Not very long. It sound like
I think it's like 30 minutes or something.
maybe. Huh?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if it says, but he was not asleep for very long at all. Um, so he's still exhausted. Yeah, Butcher is such a tease. He really is, and I think that's partly why I love him so much. He just has such a great way of even the I don't want to call it the boring parts because it's not the right word, but even the not as intense parts of the book are so interesting. Like that whole scene, it wasn't intense. He was having a conversation with his subconscious, but it was so good and just it it just pulled me into it that I was just like, this is such a unique way because he could have done what he did in the previous chapters where Harry just thought about it. It's like, okay, what's the motive? Like who who had the means? Who could have done it? Blah 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 blah. But no, he has in his delusional state, exhausted state, he has a conversation visually, face to face with his subconscious, and I thought it was so cool. I loved it. What did you think?
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
Great way to
I
do
love
it.
how we were both.
Breadcrumbing
I love
us
how we were
too.
both. Yeah, lots of breadcrumbs. I love how we were both, and Butcher in the book was immediate like evil Dresden. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
everyone
mean,
was
yeah. It's
like
like,
evil Dresden.
because you want, because I mean, you're like something evil, and he's like, "No, dude, I'm just you." Uh, cool.
Don't be an idiot. I'm just you. A roundabout way of calling yourself an idiot. That was funny. Although does bring up an interesting point. I wonder if we're gonna have some sort of conversation like that with his evil self, because he does have a darker side.
Definitely
We
on
already
the
know that. He
darker
knows
side.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if we're gonna get some of that. That might be interesting. Maybe it'll turn out that he's his darker
I'm
side the
getting
whole time.
some Bleach vibes, you know. Ooh.
Oh yeah, yeah. With talking with his sword,
Yeah.
and I don't even. The
It's
sword has a
hollow.
name. I don't remember what it is. It's hollow. Yeah,
Zengetsu
essentially.
or
I think you're right.
Zanbato?
It might
No,
something
that's
like that.
somebody else.
I
No,
don't
I'm
remember.
thinking of all sorts of different words now. No, I have no idea. I'm not gonna.
Chris,
I'm all over the
Chris is
place.
like, I'll never tell.
Yeah, Christy. Yeah, she
been
knows.
it's been a while since I've seen Bleach. I actually wanted to go back and watch it, but
I
I
need to
couldn't
go
find
back
it
and
on
watch it. Yeah.
Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I need to watch it because it's almost coming to an end of the whole thing, so it should be over.
Really?
But Dan
Didn't
was
know
telling
that.
me, yeah.
Hmm.
Because apparently,
Interesting.
this the war that they're doing right now was planned. It was originally like he was gonna do that, but they ended up canceling it, so they ended it there. They like did a wrap up at that point, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're gonna do that war, all the cool stuff," and that's the rest of the story that was planned totally, anyways.
That'd be a series I wouldn't mind. One Piece is such a endeavor, but that would be a series I wouldn't mind going back and starting and watching it all unfold.
That was in your blood, boy.
That's what it was. Yeah. I think that's one of the first mangas that I got into. Actually, was Bleach. I remember going. We've derailed this conversation so hard, but I remember going hunting with my dad and sitting in um, the deer stand reading Bleach, waiting for deer. It's just so fun. A new Bleach movie was supposedly pretty all right, but yeah, I fell out way before the
Yeah,
anime ended. It was sort of same. I
me
remember
too.
the there was a filler arc with I want to say they were like German. The names were German, but they were like
They're the vampires.
oh Were they
With the
vampires?
vampires? Because that's where I stopped. I like got to this. It was a filler episode with these vampires. That's totally garbage, skippable. And I stopped there because I was confused, and I didn't know what filler
Probably
was at the
was. Yeah.
time, and I thought that was part of the story. I'm
Yeah.
like, why is he so
Same.
weak now? He's lame.
Yep.
They just ruined the whole
Yep.
thing for me.
Yep. No, I ran into the exact same thing, and I stopped there. So I really should go back, and when I get to that point, just skip it.
Yep.
They had some cool characters in that, but
No, Dan, yeah, that's
filler.
what Dan said. He's just like, dude, just you should have just skipped that and gone straight to the actual stuff because it just picks right back up.
Yep, I sure did. Yep, that's okay. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. The Jim, I'm loving. How many chapters do we have left? I don't.
Oh, that's a good
remember.
point. I have no idea.
Let's see. So that's that's chapter up to 21. We've got 34 chapters. So
Got a ways.
yeah, still got a ways. So that would be, let's see. It's 1, 2. So we can either do 3 more streams, and the last one being 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters. Or we can do 2 more streams of this book, and we can either do 5 chapters and then the rest of the chapters, or we could split the remaining chapters and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do 7 apiece.
Let's just do the 7.
You want to do 7? Okay.
7.
So we'll do.
It's getting too tense, anyways, man. They keep cliffhangering us and cliffhangering us.
So this will be chapters 20, 21 to 27, and then 28 to 34 will be the following week. Oh, another thing. I guess because we don't do it on Sundays. Do we still want to do a one next Saturday? Are you guys doing anything with the family early for Easter Saturday, or?
I'll have to double check.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I never plan
Well,
any of that stuff, so boss.
And I forget that it's holidays like that because we celebrate it, but we celebrate at home with like
Yeah, usually
we'll
it's
watch a
just
movie
pretty chill.
together,
Yeah.
or we'll have dinner. Yeah, but we're different. We don't have kids, so and kids usually for those holidays you go out like Easter egg hunting and stuff like that. So I just didn't know if you guys did too.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some chocolate and bunnies.
Right? Those Reese's eggs.
Oh yeah,
Reese's Cups eggs. They're the best.
I love it.
Absolute best. Top tier.
I'll eat like an entire
Real or-
bag. I'm like, oh no.
Yep. Cadbury eggs. Cadbury eggs weren't my first pick. The Reese's ones were always my first pick. So that actually is a really good segue. We will keep everyone posted on Discord and the YouTube's community page. So be sure. I've actually started scheduling the streams for the events like in Discord. So if you want to be notified, there's a great way to do that. Go ahead and join our Discord. You can click on the interest button on the events. I decided I'm posting all events come Sunday for the week. So like your and I's. Oh, when do you start your new job? Do you know yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so time for schedule or for streams might change, but just keep an eye on the Discord. All events will be posted there, and you can click on the interested, and it'll tell you your local time when they start. We also have a Discord section where you can discuss the books we're reading, books that you're interested, books that you have suggestions are for us to read. So, yeah, just come over and hang out. It's a cool place for shenaniganeries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, as
Thanks,
always, it's
everybody.
a pleasure. Having a great time. Love it.
Yep. I'm Xeno.
I'm Mozzie. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys.
Bye.